Hello and welcome to What's in This Week's Oban Times with me, Fiona Scott.
Me, Kathie Griffith.
Me, Ellis Butcher.
And joining us today from the IT department on the 14th floor of the Oban Times building is Martin Stewart. Hi, Martin.
Hi, folks.
Hi, Matt.
Martin's keeping us all sorted today and hopefully online. So, yeah, another busy week at the Oban Times, guys. Has everybody been busy?
I have been busy. Yeah, I'm always busy, Fiona. You know me. I'm always busy.
Tell us what you've been doing, Kathie.
Well, one of the many lovely stories I've been doing this week is chatting to people on the Isle of Coll. Now, those of us with children and maybe grandchildren will probably know the Katie Morag stories by Mary Hedderwick. Now, little Katie lives on the island of Struay, and she's got Granny Island and Granny Mainland. But actually, it's based on Coll. So Katie Morag's a big figure there, and she's a big figure worldwide with lots and lots of fans. However, the youngsters living on Coll on the real life Coll, have been doing without a play park for 2 years. It got a bit outdated, a bit unsafe, so they had to abandon it. But now they've just started this massive fundraising project to get a brand new play park. Now, you might think kids living on the island have a massive, massive natural playground to sort of go wild and free in. But it's really, really important that they have a little meeting place. So they have a little play park where they can meet up with each other and play, but also they can make new friends when lockdown's lifted and visitors and the families come with other children. So it's really, really an important part for them on the island. So I've been doing that. And Mary Hedderwick herself, she's just become great-grandmother to the island's newest arrival, baby Orla, who's about 12 weeks old. So the whole family are involved in backing this playground project. So that's been a great story this week.
That sounds lovely. I just like the idea of having a Granny Island. I wish I had a Granny Island.
And Granny Island and Granny Mainland.
What about Grandad Island?
I don't know, actually. I don't know, maybe we should go there, I'm not sure.
That's the sequel.
Yeah, okay, Ellis.
Ellis, tell us what you've been doing.
Do you know what? I went out to a very, very exciting project this week, which is explained in immense detail in the Oban Times this week. This is about, you may have seen and heard a little bit about it already, but there are some very important trials that have started this week in Oban, taking off from the hospital. And there is the clue. This is a brand new drone, which is going to be tested to fly between the hospital at Oban and the hospital serving Mull and Iona. And the idea of this is, rather than carting expensive PPE equipment and COVID testing kits on a kind of 6-hour journey via road and ferry, what they're going to start trying to do, and what they're exploring, is looking at flying it across, because it reduces the time, would you believe, down to just 15 minutes. It's 10 mile between Oban and Mull. It's not as the crow flies, and this drone is going to be tested to fly important medical kit out to the hospital on the island, and they're going to be doing it for about 2 weeks. And then they're going to go away and look at the figures and look at the analysis and see how it's worked. And then hopefully in the autumn, the plan is to come back and perhaps start trying to do it on some more of the islands. This is a UK first. I must admit, it's a big boy's toy, but I was really impressed with what I saw.
I wasn't going to mention the word geek, but you've been in your element, haven't you, Ellis, doing that story? Great. Good read.
Yeah, well, I'll look forward to reading that one, Alice. I had a wee bit bad news story this week. We haven't been getting very many yet, but we maybe should be bracing ourselves. I wrote about the closure of the Bay Great Western Hotel, the one that's on Curran Bay, Curran Esplanade, right in the front. Of course, this was due to the fact that Bay Hotel's parent company, Specialist Leisure Group, had went into administration. So there was 7 of their hotels in Scotland closed down, and the Bay Great Western was one of them. Devastating for the town, and a bit scary for people at the moment wondering, well, who's going to be next? So I've been talking to the Federation of Small Businesses, and I believe, Ellis, you were talking to some of the big guns in the Scottish hotel industry.
Absolutely. I think the impact that coronavirus has had on the tourism season, we can all see it, can't we? Because we know that there are no visitors here. And I think the fear is that as the year goes on, when are the hotels, when is the tourism industry going to come back to life? I think all of them would say that the most important thing is public health, but there is a very real fear about the winter ahead and what that's going to mean for hotels and what it's going to mean, more importantly, for the staff that work in them. Where are the jobs going to be?
Yeah, that's right. And of course, it has a huge knock-on effect, especially in places like Oban, because if the hotels are shutting down, there's nobody visiting, there's nobody going to the shops, there's nobody using facilities and buying things at the shops. It's going to be a huge problem. And the Federation of Small Businesses and the hoteliers are calling on the government to look at that now and try and give some kind of support to these hotels. And
I think what people don't necessarily always understand about tourism, because I've lived in tourism areas as well, and it's very easy as a local resident to kind of think, oh, well, you know, the roads are always snarled up with tourists. I can't get into the shops because it's too busy. You know, I can't go about my daily business because of tourists. But what you do have to understand is that places like cinemas and restaurants, pubs and bars and shops, they all rely and keep going because of tourism, because there's not enough local residents to keep those types of businesses functioning year round. You take the tourists away and pretty soon it has a knock-on effect for the local business because they can't keep going because they haven't got enough customers. And then you start to see redundancies. And that's absolutely what we don't want to see in an area like Oban. I think Oban is a brilliant place, and I think it will always attract visitors. It will always do well, but people are right to be worried at this time.
As well as that, I've also been writing about otter rescue on Mull, which is a lovely story, a lovely happy story, all about Beltane, the bedraggled baby otter, in Oban Times this week too. Now, Kathie, I think you had somebody's birthday.
Yes, indeed, yes. It was our former editor, Ian Nicholson's 90th birthday at the weekend. And he spent the day shielding with his wife, Mamie, and they were shielding at home, but they still had plenty of visitors at a social distance, of course, including their grandson who turned up with his accordion. So very happy birthday to you, Ian, from all of us at the Oban Times. And can I sneak in this very cheeky little happy birthday wish to my little youngest daughter, Millie, who's 22 today. So,
bless. Happy birthday, Millie. And happy birthday, Millie.
Perfect job. Happy birthday, Millie.
Did you know it's my birthday this weekend?
You had to get that in. I was just going to read us out, Ellis, but you just managed to get that in time. What day is it?
Oh, no, it isn't. It's in January. Sorry.
Oh, go away. So, here at the Oban Times, we're always happy to hear from you. So stay in touch, tell us your stories, and share those photos. You can contact us by calling 01631 568 000, emailing editor@obantimes.co.uk, or messaging us on Facebook. During the COVID crisis, you can read all our stories for free online or pick up a copy of the Oban Times from supermarkets, newsagents and petrol stations. To get the page-turning digital edition of the OT, subscribe now and get 3 months for the discounted price of just £4.80. We're still asking you to stay safe, stay home and protect the NHS. Goodbye from me, Fiona Scott.
And bye from me, Kathie Griffith.
And goodbye from me, Ellis Butcher.